This one manifestation technique is responsible for me manifesting a 22-room mansion within 1 year of living in one bedroom flat in Greater London. Not only that, but I manifested my dream business, my dream partner, received my annual income in a weekend, and also manifested my corporate consulting business and $1 million partnerships and working with the tech giants globally. This one tool is responsible for me living my dream life, the life beyond my wildest dreams. What Neville Goddard really talks about is waking up and going to sleep in this state when your mind, right before you're going to sleep and straight away after you wake up, your mind is in this theta frequency where you are in the daydreaming. So your subconscious mind is open to being impressed, is open to suggestion, what you really want to suggest, what you really want to feel. And at that point, you want to take full leverage of that situation and really feel what you want to feel. I have taken this tool to the next level. And what I've done is I have created different scenarios of what my ideal dream life looks like. And I divide it into different aspects where I would be living, how would I be living my life, what kind of feelings I would have, what kind of experience would I have, how would I be feeling, what I would be doing, what would my day look like. And then I create different scenarios. And then just before going to sleep or while I've just woken up, I take one scenario and I really practice it, mentally rehearse it, feel it, and live there. And at that time, I do not connect it to my present reality at all. I do not try to think logically how it's going to happen or what is the probability or letting my physical reality define the any of that. I just completely jump in that situation. And I'm also doing it with the life I'm manifesting right now, the same way. My next dream life, because we never stop growing and dreaming. The way you do it is you start to really feel that from the place that it's already happening, but you start to mentally rehearse every single detail. And this is really important. So let's say that you are on a stage and you're talking and there are 9,000 people sitting there, right? So you do not want to see yourself on the stage and you are far. In fact, you see yourself right on the stage and you see the audience and the flashlights and the lighting and all of those things, and you are experiencing all of that. But the detail that you want to get to is, what are you saying? I have built my imagination, which is a muscle, to the extent that I can literally see myself saying the whole thing, even if it takes half an hour. I can see myself and experience myself saying every single detail. Right? You start to say, okay, what am I really saying right now? What are the facial expressions of the audience? Who is sitting at the front? What are they wearing? How are they looking at me? How are they responding to what I'm saying? What am I wearing? But clearly you can only see your clothes from here. You cannot see yourself from the front. So you really get in the scene. Like Neville talks about vision into being. You really experience it while being in every single detail. Like, how does it smell? What kind of noise can you hear? What is the feeling? How is your body feeling? And as you know, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between real and imagine. And when you do that, there is something really powerful that happens. And that's what Steve Jobs and Napoleon Hill talk about. So Napoleon Hill says that there are two kind of imaginations. He mentioned this in Think and Grow Rich, that one is creative imagination and one is synthetic. Synthetic imagination is what you know already. So for instance, when you're on the stage, you know that you're going to talk to people. You know, you maybe have your speech prepared because you're already a match. So you exactly know what you're going to talk about. And if you do not, that means you're not a match for that situation if you're not ready to receive. And you know that how people are responding and all of those things. But then creative imagination is filling the gaps of what you don't know. So maybe you do not know something, maybe you do not have any idea, or maybe you do not know how it's going to happen. So while you get on that frequency using the synthetic imagination, that means imagining what you know, the gaps that you have in your information or the plots or plans or circumstances, they are revealed to you. And that's what we call creative imagination. So if you want to take the example of creative imagination, think of it this way. Wright brothers, who were the bicycle mechanics and who were flying the plane, They did not know how to do that. They were bicycle mechanics, right? But in their imagination, they always saw that the plane is flying. And when the first time when the plane couldn't fly, one brother said to the other brother, "Don't worry, brother, I can see it. It's flying." So they could see that in their imagination, right? And when they could see that, that's when they got all the missing pieces in their creative imagination. What needs to happen? What kind of engine they need? What kind of what kind of shape of the plane should be, and all those things came through their creative imagination. So the dots, like Steve Jobs says, that you cannot connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward. So when you go in your imagination, using your synthetic imagination, using what you know, and really go in the detail. Detail is the magic. When you see yourself talking, like I was giving the example of the stage, and when you're seeing what you're actually saying and how the audience is responding and all those things, then that's when the things are revealed, because now you're in the detail. A lot of times people imagine things, but they're not in the detail. They're not in it. They're just thinking about what they want. And that's where you are not really using the imagination to paint the picture. You're just thinking about the picture. So that's more like a fantasy. When you see yourself in it and when you experience every single detail, then while the details that are missing are filled by creative imaginations, you can say when God starts talking to you through your intuition, you can say that the dots, the missing pieces are being revealed to you. Whatever frame you want to look at is, but that's when the unknown, which is not aware, which you are not aware in your conscious awareness, is revealed to you. But if you don't go in the detail, then it cannot reveal to you, because you are still far away from that. So what you really want to look at is, what are you saying? What are you experiencing using your five senses? What exactly is happening? For instance, in this example of talking on the stage, if you're saying, "Yeah, I'll just say something," but you're not seeing yourself saying those things, even if it's taking you 15, 20 minutes, if you're not able to see that, if you're not able to see the detail of what words are coming out of your mouth and how it feels like, and what people are saying and they're responding, you are not going in the enough detail. So detail and making it vivid, like Napoleon Hill says, it's the workshop of your mind. It's the most powerful, miraculous, and inconceivable power that the world has ever seen. And it's the workshop. When you go in the workshop, when you're building something in the workshop, you can't leave some pieces out. You have to build everything brick by brick. So in your imagination, you can go anywhere and you can build it. But when you focus on the detail, like Neville Goddard says, and you really create different scenarios. So one scenario, you can say, if you see yourself as a successful entrepreneur, you can take one scenario of doing a meeting. But again, you cannot just look at it as a helicopter view and say, "Okay, I was doing a meeting, there were these many people." You want to do the meeting in your imagination. And there is one powerful benefit of this thing, that when that situation actually happens, as you start to mentally rehearse it, you are ready to receive. So when you get on that stage with 9,000 people, or when you are actually doing that meeting in your physical reality, you are ready to do it. It's not a far-fetched idea. So detailing in your imagination helps you become a match. When that thing actually happens, you are able to receive it, because for your mind it has happened so many times that it's not even new. You give that energy to other people, that I have done that, I know, even if it's the first time, because you start to see yourself, and for your mind this has happened so many times, it did not know, you were just imagining. So mentally you're rehearsing that thing and you're bringing it in the form, and when it's there, when you called it with your thoughts, like Wallace Wallace says, by thoughts the thing you want is brought to you. So when you bring it with your thoughts, then you can take easy action to receive it, because that action is now your second nature. So mentally rehearsing is the way you become a match. Mentally rehearsing is the way you get that inner power and confidence. Mentally rehearsing is the way that you release your blocks. Mentally rehearsing is the way where you get on that frequency, and whatever that missing pieces are, you receive that. So when I did that with the 22 room mention that I wanted to manifest, when I didn't even see that mention, I didn't even know what it looked like, I started to create scenarios. I started to create rooms in my mind. I tried to create what it looks like, how it's gonna be. And then once we saw an ad for that mansion and we were like, oh my God, that is so similar to what I have. So we attracted that. I remember going and viewing that mansion. I literally felt like I'm living in my vision. I'm seeing that, right? And it happened. But then for the things to manifest, for me to land my dream job so that I could afford that house, and for my husband to get 5x increases in income within the span of 3 months, like all these crazy and illogical things happen. I had to mentally rehearse for the dots to connect, to get the ideas, to attract the opportunities. So when you are mentally rehearsing, you are on that frequency. When you're mentally rehearsing, you are ready to receive what's there for you to receive. So if you are wondering why it's not here yet, it means that you are not a match, because everything is already created. It's already here. So you are not a match because you don't see yourself, or you are not observing that thing in your mind enough that it's natural for you. So by doing this, you're normalizing, you're saying, this is natural, this is who I am, this is how it gets to be. I still remember when I started my coaching business, and I used to visualize having Zoom full of people, like so many windows there and so many people. And when that vision manifested for the first time, I thought I'm going to faint, because it was literally the copy paste of what I mentally rehearsed, and the sessions and the coaching sessions that I did in my mind, and all those experiences. So what I do is I write, go in the end, in the vision of signing that deal, experiencing that thing, being on the stage, talking to this person, partnering with the major tech giants. I go right in that vision. I experience that. I practice that in my mind. I feel that. And before I know it, it manifests in the physical. When you do this, you will go so far ahead in your life that you will need a telescope to see how far you have come.